Welcome to Deeply Disturbing Things.
The podcast.
I'm Macy.
And I'm Naomi.
And we are two anxious counselors who like to talk about deeply disturbing things.
Woo! Maybe we'll be able to find some light in the darkness.
Maybe. I think we will today.
Okay.
I think we will. We like that look up like something.
At the light.
Something, that light up there. I almost wish I could be like dimmed.
You're right next to the dimmer.
There's an actual.
You have the power.
That's nice. I might fall into a coma nap. You might fall into a nap.
I might fall into a nap.
The lake nap in our memory bank.
Yes.
All right.
I think actually a counseling room being called the memory bank actually
It's
is
actually
a really good fit.
Yeah. We have to do something with that. I
We
don't
do.
quite know what, but something should happen. Copyrighted, don't you do it.
Circle C.
Circle C. We're the counselors. Circle C. Counselors. Copyright. Our shit. Okay.
2024.
2024. Okay. So I am going to be talking about what I mentioned that I thought I talked about already, which I didn't.
Oh, Baywatch.
Pamela Anderson.
Yay.
So I'm excited to talk about this topic because I honestly grew up a little post the Baywatch era. I did have a stepmother who was very Seattle-esque and partook in Baywatch. I remember seeing that
I've
on
never
TV.
watched a Baywatch episode in my entire life.
I think I even at one point when I was like teen something, I don't know, I probably ran across it and saw people running on a beach once. I don't think I stayed for the whole thing, the whole jog down to the ocean.
I think that's what they're famous for, the running on the beach, which is actually very difficult to do as somebody who grew up on the beach.
Yes. So I watched the documentary the newest one on Netflix.
What's it called?
Gosh, it's her tell all basically. What was it called? I'll let you know because I'm sure I'm gonna run across it again.
I love a tell all.
It's lovely because I knew nothing about her and I grew up again, not like in that era. And I grew up with a single bachelor dad, so I knew Playgirl, Play Bunny, whatever, but never, that's a you thing to
You
hear.
mean Playboy?
Did I say Playgirl?
Yeah.
So she's Playgirl, but me. Sorry, I was trying to use her specified Playgirl.
I just know your dad, and I don't think Playgirl's probably his jam.
Probably not. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
It goes, okay, I mean, that makes sense.
It was one time.
Okay, all right. So likewise, I knew nothing. And then I watched this documentary and I feel like I actually feel close to her as a human. Like I feel like I understand how her brain works.
Great. Are you gonna touch on Tommy Lee and the boys?
Yep. So that'll be in there. There's actually a lot. There's obviously someone's whole life I didn't know, believe it or not. So there's a lot there.
I really like the era that she's in right now.
Yes. What do you know about her era now?
Her makeup-free, unapologetic era.
Yes, and I think I had a lot of the same, maybe not the same, but a lot of similar stigma perspectives about Pamela Anderson, but maybe not coming from as judgy of a place, but still that's maybe how I viewed her regardless. Like not, again, knowing anything about her otherwise is one thing.
I do wonder if her eyebrows are a choice or if she's suffering from overplucking from the back in the day.
She did not go into that actually, and that I remember.
I mean, now in her makeup-free era, her eyebrows are notably
she's 59.
Not wide, but overplucking can do that, or it could be a choice. I'm just curious because I'm a nosy person.
I was gonna say, I don't think I'm not an entertainment today kind of person. Like I don't follow anybody. Ever.
Nobody inspires you that you want to follow?
No.
Oh God.
No.
I follow people that add value to my life, that inspire me and bring me joy or make me think.
I feel like I need a good start, because what if I start down that and then I was wrong and then does that happen?
Yeah, then you just unfollow them.
Okay.
It's easy.
Oh, so you have to have a lot of them then, so some can get filtered out.
Yeah, for sure. There's people I follow and then unfollow. I'm like, not bringing me what I wanted it to.
Okay, okay. I could see that.
Like if it makes me laugh or inspires me or just makes me think in a good way, makes me feel more creative, just whatever like that entertains me. It doesn't have to be deep even.
I like
Then
that.
yeah, I follow tons of people.
Well, and here I'll just go ahead and give the spoiler alert, or not alert, wait, warning? Spoiler warning. So, spoiler alert?
I mean, it's a warning or an alert. I feel like that word means the same, so I think you could use them interchangeably.
Okay, alert sounded odd. Like spoiler alert, it's happening right now, but
I
it's
think
not
they'd
like
say
right
alert,
now.
but you can say warning.
Warning ahead.
This is literally our podcast, so
We can do what we want in
you
our
can
memory
call it a
bank.
spoiler warning.
It turned into spurt in my mind, and I don't
Just
know
own
why.
it.
Okay, so spurt warning. Pamela Anderson will be talked about, and there will be tittlebits all over the place from the Netflix thing and the internets and the
Okay.
pixel bits. So if you don't want things spoiled for a show that's been out for over a year and
I
a
feel like
half,
if
two
it's been
years,
out for more than 3 months, then I don't think
fair
we need to
game.
say spoiler warnings or spurt alerts
Spurt
anymore.
alerts. I kind of like saying it though.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So, I went into this knowing nothing and kind of didn't want to watch it. And then I got it, so it's a series. So you get some
Okay.
nice time with Pamela, which is was
Okay.
nice in that journey. And she does her own like kind of narrating through it, which is nice, and it's at a good pace. I actually highly recommend it, even though I didn't want to. So if you feel like you don't want to, maybe second guess that.
Why are we so resistant? I'm curious.
Again, I think that just stigma of like, I don't really care what she.
Like she has nothing to offer you.
Yeah, and something about that, like, I am doing a documentary about myself for someone that's it's all about themselves.
Mm.
Felt I didn't want to like.
So it's like
buy
her
into
kind
that.
of telling her side of things.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And
It's like Britney's book.
like I didn't know enough about the other side to even care that much. I wasn't like bought in either way. I've heard the sex tape thing and I just assumed, yeah, I'm sure there was a scandal at some point, but
I mean, who hasn't had a sex tape?
right, and that's
Really?
kind of my like meh, lackluster. So, but the big Tommy Lee thing, like I've heard that, but never enough care to investigate further. So it was like meh. And then I watched the first episode and then I was in. And then I watched the whole thing like in one evening. So
Okay. Let's get into it.
Pamela Anderson, if you don't know, she is a successful actress, a model, a passionate activist, and she also was one of the Playboy boy bunnies as well, and that's often what she gets a lot of. She was on Playboy's cover 13 times.
That's pretty cool. That's an accomplishment.
That's the most that one person
Oh,
has
she has the
been.
record.
Right, right. So she was an actress on Baywatch and Home Improvement, which I watched Home Improvement a lot and growing up.
What did she play?
She was the
Oh,
the
the
wife.
tool girl.
Or yeah, the tool girl.
Yeah, I remember that
Right,
now.
right. Yep, that's right. And I was trying to think. So in Baywatch, she was kind of the ditzy blonde one, right?
I never watched Baywatch.
Okay. Okay.
I only know of Baywatch just because it was such a cultural phenomenon. You couldn't like ignore it.
Yeah. And so once they showed some like clips of it during the documentary, which they did that a lot throughout. Again, it keeps people focused. It was good. It helped me kind of see too, because I was like, oh, that is kind of how I viewed her, which was a lot of what the character she was playing in Baywatch was.
Isn't that interesting how we just assume
That's
people
you.
are their performance?
Which means like she was actually really
A
good.
good actor. Well, it's
Yeah.
actually a good actor. It takes a good actor to play dumb.
Takes a good person to play dumb too, I think. Knows me
It takes a smart person to play dumb.
Thank you. See, you believe me. Okay. Anyways, so she's very what's that word? She's a philanthropist. So she really loves animals. And this was like evident to the whole thing. And first of all, she's probably one of the sweetest people I've ever heard talk who's like my mother's age. Like she sounds so innocent but then you can definitely see the edge.
Yeah. I mean, does
And I
age
like that.
really come into play though if we're being a sweet person?
I just like the time, getting run. I've just seen so many people like life. With how much she has gone through by the end of that, I would have imagined a much rougher exterior in
I mean,
terms
I'm
of
almost that
the
age and
filter.
I'm super happy and positive. And a lot of
Right.
people are. See, maybe you need to follow more people out there.
Maybe I do. I
You
just
might have some biases.
if I went through what she went through, I would definitely not be as nice as she is.
But a lot of people, because of their trauma, are actually
Mhm.
super positive.
And she really was super positive from the beginning too, so that might help.
I think you might have some implicit biases and actually
Maybe
following some people that are older that are like loving their life might be good for you.
maybe I agree. Maybe I
I'll
agree.
send you some peeps.
That's what I need actually, is because I don't even know where to start, honestly. And I don't want to get lost in
Well, start with
the
Pam
world.
Anderson. You already are
That's a great
impressed.
point. Does she have Facebook? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I don't Facebook, but she
I
probably has an
barely, I
Instagram.
barely touch my Instagram. I barely touch my Instagram. I only see the pictures that we post.
And if you do that, even.
Okay, so if I do that even, I do look at them. Um, so she runs her own foundation. She supports organizations, for
She
protecting.
has an Instagram. I'll send it to you.
Okay, great.
She has 3.6 million followers.
I will add to that. I'm probably the last person to add to that. So she's on a bunch of foundations for human rights, animal rights, environmental rights. She is also the proud mom of two young children, two young boys who grew up into men, by the way, sorry.
Yeah,
However,
how old are they now?
they're like adults. They're just adults. I don't
I
know.
think I sent you that profile.
Okay. I don't see anything, but maybe
I'm not
soon.
sure. I've never sent a profile, so if not, it's literally just Pamela Anderson.
I'll look it up. I'll remember the name I might after this. So she really did have a lot of hardships early on in her career. And did you know her hair was brown? First of all, that was the first thing to floor me that I think yanked me. And I was like, okay, tell me more. And she's smart. So that's the thing about the almost kind of the playing dumb bit. She's
Oh my God,
very
you
good at
weren't
it.
here when we did the Jane Mansfield episode.
No.
We talked about all of this.
About
She
the
was a bottle blonde and
Oh,
she played dumb because she was told when she was trying out for like the serious
right.
Shakespearean role, like, I mean, this is not the exact quote, but like, girl with that body and that face, this is not for you. Like, here, I got a job for you. You're gonna be like Marilyn Monroe-esque.
Mhm.
You're gonna be the sex kitten. You're
Right,
gonna be the blonde bombshell. And so she's put into that. So Pam Anderson is actually like part of that same strain.
right. And Pam Anderson, they like, this is how you're going to look. And
Mm.
uh, so in letters Anderson sent to her high school boyfriend, Tyrone, after she moved to LA, revealed how much her road to fame basically became rocky right off the bat. So she said, please, I'm lonely. I need letters or phone calls. It's tough starting a career, isn't it? You have to put up with a lot of shit. It just takes so damn long to make someone else believe you. And then when they finally believe in you, they have their own hidden agenda. They just want to fuck you one way or another.
More than one way.
And that was in October 1989, a year after I was born. So right off the bat, she's already able, and she had these journals that was another cool thing. She's actually reading through journals. She journaled all the time.
Didn't burn them.
She didn't burn the journal, which I mean, the tape thing, yeah, I guess that did bite her, but
Or did it?
it did. It did.
But I
She
mean,
made no money off of those. Oh, spoiler, spurt
but is there
alert.
really bad
Yes.
press?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna say yeah. Because of how it impacted her. I would say for Tommy Lee, no.
Yeah, because he got a rep as
A
having
rock
you know
star.
what.
If you're a Playboy bunny and you have the status already, and then that lowers your status. And because now someone has something to use against you.
Yeah, there shouldn't be that hierarchy.
And she didn't make money off that. Okay, so, and she was very against it all. So in that same letter, she revealed how questionable her encounters were. She wrote, "Wish me some luck tomorrow. I'm supposedly meeting some mafia dude." She reassured, "I'll bring my gun, don't worry. He's an agent. Some other agent told me he was mafia. Figures." So that's, great to walk into. And look how bright and lively with her
Yeah, I like
hair.
that Bridget Bardot hair.
Mhm.
Claudia Schiffer used to rock that
Totally.
same hair
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
with the sex bump.
Yeah, when you see her, like, I'll see if I can find later a picture of her, like, as a kid and teen, you're like, oh, okay, like, and then it just doesn't quite match up mentally.
It's like pictures of Marilyn Monroe when she was brunette.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the sweetness, it kind of juxtaposes like the later images.
Right. So this new documentary and a memoir, which is called, I actually thought this one was gonna tell me. It's on Hulu. Wait, no. Sorry. No, wrong. Bad Hulu. Hulu had a series called Pam and Tommy.
Oh, I remember that.
That was like the dramatized
It was played
version
by
of
other
their life.
people. Yeah.
Right. And that was actually done with zero consultation with her. And it was supposed to be a pretty accurate depiction of what they had said it was.
Yeah.
And she didn't have any.
I mean, it's stuff like that that makes me glad I'm not famous. Can you imagine someone doing like a fictionalized, dramatized documentary of your life where somebody else is playing you?
Right. Well, and that whole thing took like, this one thing in her life that was a blip and became the center of her life. And then now there's a show that's like brings it all up again and does a bad job about it. And it's not accurate, obviously, as those shows typically aren't. So she said in an interview with an exclusive about her memoir, her two sons, Brandon. So Brandon is 26.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
They
this would
grew
have
up
actually been a year
fast.
ago. So 27 or 28. And then Dylan is 25, so 26 or 27. And she said that they were the ones that encouraged her to tell her story. And the kids reported later that they were actually very surprised how honest their mom was, and were very proud of her for being, forthright. And I forget which one, said that she wasn't, as critical as she needed to be, and that she really got ripped off in a lot of ways, which I would agree with that. She said there's a bit of anxiety before it comes out. So this is before the release of it, because this has been a year basically of therapy, going through my life from my first memory to my last memory. This made me think of you writing your memoir.
My book, my story.
Mm-hmm. So, because you said you're writing it in chronological-ish.
Birth through 2006.
Mm-hmm. Is that because it kind of rhymes just a little bit?
No, it was just a good place to stop.
I like that. Mm-hmm.
And then who knows, maybe one day I'll do 2006 through.
That's a lot in there, actually. Yeah.
Other time. I know, but I don't feel like it's as interesting.
I can't
Like that was a
wait to read your
story.
book.
Like that's a cohesive story.
Right.
To that point.
There was like a beginning and an end of that chapter.
Yeah, there's like a purpose and an intention behind that
sense.
story versus I don't know what the other would be. So
Winging it.
I don't know. It just would be too self-serving.
Whereas this when story, did you meet me? Was it when you met me? It was right around then.
It was right around there. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, that was interesting. So I met you
at the end of my story.
At the end of your story. The never-ending story. So she said she's really proud of this. It's something that she wrote every word of. She didn't have a collaborator and she didn't have a ghostwriter. So it's something that's straight from her. And you can feel it like just through the whole thing. Mm-hmm. She said, it's just one girl's story of how I made it through a small town girl going to LA and going through all the wild and crazy adventures I did and circling back and going home. So, which she did, go back home. So she said this process of reflection, she said she had no idea how much anger she had inside of her, mm-hmm. or how therapeutic it was going to be for not just her, but for the people around her, like her mother. She says it's been a healing process. I'm so happy to share it and hopefully people will be inspired. And I would say that I really enjoyed watching it. And it made me
So it's based on a book then.
Maybe. So she said, she added, I think a lot of it has to do with keeping secrets and keeping things repressed.
Oh my God, that's exactly what my story is about.
Everything's connected with Pamela
Oh
Anderson.
my God,
Maybe,
me and Pamela
you know, if
Anderson
anyone
are
would join our
basically
show, I
friends.
think it'd be Pamela Anderson, now that I feel connected by watching her documentary.
Well, we got an actual world famous theoretical
Physicist?
physicist to let us interview
I
him.
know, he had no idea.
And he actually had fun.
We made him laugh.
I know, we made him
I'm
laugh.
proud.
Yes, me too.
And I learned a bit about wormholes
I learned a bit about it.
about doors and stepping in and stepping out.
Yeah.
So
We
through
talked
time,
about, yeah, we talked about movies. We
time
talked
travel
about
and like,
Back to the Future.
I need to re-listen to that to see if I can wrap my mind around it again. Because I printed off that article, remember? Like I actually read the article.
Yeah, and I read it too before we interviewed him because I
Right.
wanted to like feel like I was on my game as much as possible.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Pam, we'd love to have you on.
She's not listening to us, so
Why would you say that?
you would have to actually reach
We
out
have
to
to
her
put it,
people.
get your people to talk to our people, which
Yeah,
is Podbean.
I think you probably have to just
You would be a good
reach out to
connection
her
point.
people.
I don't think she'd get my people. Um, so she said that in these cases, these were stories written and things that happened, but you can't really know somebody unless you hear the whole story. And she hopes that that's empowering for people. So, this memoir, now we can kind of go back to the beginning of the middle. Back to the beginning of the middle.
It's a good place to start.
Right. So how do you get a job at the Playboy Mansion?
I don't know. I imagine you have to be interviewed. And who knows what that looks like.
I mean, I would imagine it looks like Pamela Anderson, but so
I'm
let's
sure
talk
there's
about
different tiers of bunnies.
So she did modeling in her small town first. So there was actually a couple, and I saw a couple of the ads, and it's like, okay, like I could see why someone would be interested in her. And she got called to LA, so that's why that became an urgent thing. Here's her with Mr. Hugh Hefner.
Hef.
Yep. That's all I know of this man too, is this man's face in that purple robe. How
What?
he needs to be a topic as well, I'm pretty
You didn't
sure.
watch the documentary? I was obsessed with that show, that reality
What show?
series of him when he was married to the three Madison and Holly.
No, I think at like Real Housewives level of
I've never
TV.
seen Real Housewives, so I don't know, but
It's a
it
lot of
was
drama.
really intriguing and
Mhm.
interesting, and I was all in.
I'll have
really
to, I was gonna say, I might
You got
need
to see
circle
like
back.
part of the inner life of the mansion, like the making of the meals and all of that. And
That's cool. I know nothing about it other than this documentary.
I recommend it. I don't remember what it's called.
Okay. I'll
Is
look
it called
into
The
it.
Girls Next Door or something, maybe?
So 2023 is when this came out. So she modeled for Playboy all the way in the early 90s. She embodied a fresh all-American mode of sexuality, young, blonde, having the time of her life. Again, made blonde, but still, that's fine. I'm glad to call her a brunette at heart. Everyone wants to party with Pamela.
Oh,
And so that was one thing too, like she is just like this free spirit, like does what inspires her.
yeah.
And I think that was really just kind of like refreshing to see that, especially with how she manages, and you'll see, she's been married 6 times. Some of them rather
Wow.
creepy. You didn't know that?
No, I'm one and done.
One and done. Yeah, so 6
It's
times.
really bugging me. I'm sorry. I need to know who those three girls were.
That's fine.
There's a Holly and a Bridget.
Sure did.
Holly Madison, Bridget, and Kendra. Yes, Kendra was my favorite.
Okay.
Holly was kind of like the know-it-all.
Mm.
And Bridget was kind of like the more sweeter one.
I heard
Which
that there
was
was
a kind
some
way
like
of saying-
ruffled some ruffled feathers about Pamela being there because she quickly became one of the favorites. Like she jumped right up to the top.
Well, sink or swim, baby.
Sink or swim. So okay, so she was on Playboy no less than 11 times, I think I said 13, and starring in Baywatch, they were prepared to go to more extreme lengths for like to try to get her physically out there. So in 1996, this is when the sex tape of Pamela Anderson came out. Her then husband, Tommy Lee, they were, so again, just even learning more about the context of this, they were obviously having sex on a yacht. That was a thing, but it's what happened, I think
So
it was before they
somebody,
got married.
like, what was the situation? Someone
So the
like
whole thing was,
stole their tape?
yeah, so it was leaked to the public, and
What was the
someone came
format of the
in
tape? Like a camcorder?
like a VHS tape.
I mean,
So
it couldn't have been one of those big ass ones at that time. We had like the small handheld cams at that time. So it's probably like
it
a
was,
smaller tape.
I mean, I was imagining bigger, but I could be just historically
96.
inaccurate. Right,
Yeah, I think we're more advanced than that.
right, probably.
It wasn't like a camera you carry in a suitcase.
No,
No,
no.
I'm 96. So
So
I'm thinking it was probably like a camcorder, one of those small tapes.
right.
Easy to pocket.
To put it in the pocket. So it was a disgruntled, I think, employee or something like that of Tommy Lee's that came in and swiped it sort of deal. And he actually sat on it for a while because he was scared about repercussions. But then because he tried to sell it a bunch of places and they were all like, no. And then one place had it and it became known that they had it, and then they went to court, and this is what I did not know. So she had to like go and defend why this shouldn't be made public. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think that there's a lot of drive to make it public. Money, it's powerful, and people want to sell it, and it's like, well, it's out there. So I think people are put on the defense in our legal system. That's just the way it's set up.
But that's, I mean, but they should be impartial, right? That's the
Should.
should. Right, correct. And that's kind of what I was thinking.
I mean, I don't want to be victim blaming, but lock that stuff up. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like, trust
but
no
it was
one.
stolen out of their home, like that's out of their bedroom.
Yeah.
But when you have gardeners and people in
Yeah,
and
you
out all the
have
time.
service people in and around. I don't know.
So, and their relationship had a lot of like turmoil and like there was a lot of like super strong emotions
Yeah.
and then big fights and
I
so
mean,
it was a lot of
okay,
public attention.
here's my honest opinion.
Yeah.
If you don't want something like that ever getting out there, don't freaking do it in the first place.
Right.
Because there's always a chance.
But imagine it from her perspective where that was probably recorded by him. You know how much like
But she knew, like it was a couple thing they were
kept
doing.
it, but it was like his tape.
Yeah, but she knew, like it happened. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I think there's only one way to absolutely guarantee stuff like that isn't gonna get out there, and that's don't do it in the first place.
Or don't steal other people's things.
Okay, well, is that a realistic expectation?
Is it realistic that people will stop making sex tapes? I beg to differ. I don't know. They might get
But I
stolen.
focus on what I have control over, and that would be like my thing.
Your take on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. So here's her and Tommy Lee together. So I watched a lot of the like so they show a lot of like documentaries and I think one of the things again kind of in line with what you were saying of like don't have it there. She bought him a video recorder as a gift and there's so much footage like he sat and filmed them together and it was really cute like all these different little places and things that they did together so I think it was also part of their like thing too.
It's fun to have those memories.
So let's see here and he's a musician in case you didn't know who Tommy was but not really my focal point here we go. Baywatch Baywatch ended up being canceled after, gosh, what was it? September 14th, 1992, season 3 of Baywatch premiered. That was its launch, and it was canceled by NBC after just one season due to low ratings. Like I would never have guessed that.
What? It only went one season.
So it then became a hit overseas.
Oh, but didn't it come back? Because weren't there other like versions of it later?
So I think it just got big overseas, and that's where it stayed, because then she went on Home Improvement, and then she was on Home Improvement
Oh.
after.
So Baywatch only had one season ever. There was never like new versions or
Hold on.
because that would like
I don't want to be wrong
shock
here.
me.
I don't know enough about it, so I'm not gonna claim to.
I know, I never watched it.
Oh, okay. 11 seasons.
Okay, that sounds more like
So
it.
maybe I'm reading the context wrong here in their article. Well, obviously I am. Let's see here. So there's 11 seasons. Oh, maybe it's the context is after one season it became really big overseas, and then they just stopped talking about it in a poorly written article.
So I've said last time we talked about Pamela Anderson
Mhm.
and Baywatch that I really was super into Knight Rider when that show was on.
Explain Knight Rider to me. I've heard
It's
I've heard it.
like talking car, and that was David Hasselhoff's like
David
big
Hasselhoff, that's right.
breakout
Okay,
role,
with his blonde hair,
dark brown hair.
dark brown hair.
He was the Hoff. And
Okay.
I freaking loved Knight Rider so much. And when I was in 6th grade, I got to go to Universal Studios. And that was the year that show was really big. And so they did a whole show with Knight Rider there live in car doing a whole thing.
In
and it
car.
was like, well, I can't
Wow.
say in person. Loved me some Knight Rider. Oh, I went there when I was like in 6th grade.
That's pretty cool.
It was cool.
With the car? With the car?
Yeah, it was like talking, it was doing the whole
That's
thing.
pretty cool.
My
I've never seen a
God.
talking car.
Yeah, it was cool. Do you even know what Kit looks like?
I feel like I do for an odd reason. I don't think I actually
I'll find a picture of
do.
Kit, and I don't even remember what Kit stands for.
So Pam and Tommy, they did. So the thing is, they go to court because they filed the suit, right? They're like, we don't want this to get out there. This one place that wants to publish it. We don't want
Hell
this
to the yeah. Look at that.
Well, I forget.
The Hoff
Close.
in front of Kit.
Oh my gosh. Is he like 7 feet? Is that why he had to like stagger his legs like that, or he would be out of shot?
He's probably really tall.
He's probably like 5'3", actually.
I mean, I didn't care about the Hoff. I was into the car.
Into the car. Was that Trans Am?
Well,
Pontiac Trans Am,
yeah.
called it.
When Kit would talk, like the lights would go across the grill,
I
like
think my dad
at the
used to
same
have that Trans
time.
Am. Oh, lucky you, that's a $15 poster. You can splurge on that. You can splurt. No.
1982 Knight Rider television show poster. It's only 8 by 10. We can't call an 8 by 10 a poster. That's not a poster. That is a sheet of printer paper.
You could print that
I
yourself
could print that my
for that
own
much ink.
self.
Correct.
All right. Well, now you know KIT, but what does KIT stand for still?
I have no idea. We're kind of on a different 90s Star Trek here.
But related because they were in the show together.
That's true. So so Pam Anderson and Tommy Lee aren't like, obviously like together, but they've had a lot of like up and downs throughout of like, oh, we're getting back together, things like that. It's through that whole thing,
Knight Industries 2000. KITT.
We're already past 2000. That's intense.
But that was like future. Like when Prince said we're gonna party like it's 1999. Nobody knew what that was.
Where the hell are the hoverboards? Where the hell are my hoverboards?
Where are they?
I want 6 of them in a sleigh. Like I want a sleigh behind 6 hoverboards.
I want a hoverboard too. I agree.
Yeah.
We were lied to.
That, and I've never had to stop, drop, and roll. I've never sank in quicksand. I've never had to go under my desk for a bomb. I mean, that's really good.
I've done lots of under desk and earthquakes.
Red and black, you're okay, Jack. Black and yellow, you're a dead fellow.
What does that mean?
Snake colors.
Oh.
next to each other for if they're deadly poisonous or not. But sometimes I get them mixed up and I say them backwards. So don't take that as real advice. Warning label. An alert, perhaps, if you're in front of a snake. They go to court. We're whiplashing back here. So they did actually win the suit, but so it ends there, like they're out of the public eye for it because it looks like they won. So people are like, whatever,
okay.
you got what you wanted.
Well, people have
But
such short attention spans. They're only going to pay attention to what the media tells them they should pay attention to.
It was a $1.5 million judgment. But this business went out of business by the time this was done.
That's smart. I mean,
right. I mean, that's $1.5 million you don't have to pay for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Right. So they didn't get money back for what happened. And that was a 1998 copyright infringement.
I love that I'm wearing a 90s outfit and you're doing a 90s.
I know, it's perfect. It's so perfect. So they did grant them $740,000 apiece in a default judgment against IEG, whose reps failed to appear in court to defend the company. The dispute began in 1997 when IEG obtained the video. Pam and Tommy said it was stolen from their house by a construction worker. I said Gardner, my apologies. And began selling downloadable copies online. Despite an injunction sought by the couple and IEG did reach this agreement over the web version, but then IEG began marketing a videotape, which was priced at $15. And that became the best-selling porn title in history, still to this day. The home sales prompted copyright lawsuits, with Anderson and Lee demanding a cut of the profits. They dismissed the
porn tapes by celebs were really popular at this time. I think around the same time was the Tonya Harding, Jeff Gillooly porn tape.
I don't know who either of those people are.
Tonya Harding, Olympic ice skater that hit Nancy Kerrigan in the knee. I mean, not
I know that story. See, I know
not directly, but
I know the sensational
allegedly.
Whatever my 90s stepmom said at the time about whatever that topic was is what I remember. I also remember folding laundry while watching Jeopardy. And I hate Jeopardy and I hate folding laundry.
But you know some stuff from the 90s that you like Kurt Cobain.
But I love that it's not like I lived in the 90s. It's because I was cleaning the bathroom in the 2000s and my dad played Nirvana and I was like, oh, this is way better than Shania Twain. Yeah. Okay. So.
Agreed.
So that sex tape, like that would be horrifying to me if all of a sudden the whole world had a sex tape of you. Like there was this stigma assumption that because Pamela was a Playboy girl, Playboy woman, that she should be okay with her body being seen like that. But she was really, she was actually very, I think, modest in the sense of like
you want to have a say,
right? Even
over it.
Right in the shoots and stuff, she would have a say. And there was a respectable component in there for what she did. She was not shooting porn. That's different. But I think people
that's Hustler.
Right. So people equated it the same. Hustler. She's very anti-porn, by the way. Like she has a thing where she's like it's causing a lot of harm, is what she said. Pornography's image of what moving people towards lust instead of like love in relationships.
Well, that's just scratching the surface, I think.
Oh yeah. She gave a big lecture with another like specialist person on that topic with like over 1,000 people. Yeah. So they won that.
And then also I would say we're splitting hairs.
I'm sure, right? Well,
because a lot of people use Playboy as porn.
Right. So. Right. But that's not a problem. I could totally see though, it's just like child stars, like the image that they sell you to get you in the door, like as the child star is probably like, oh, you're somehow higher than. Yeah. Oh, I found her Instagram. Got it. She does have Facebook as well. Let's see here what she said. Life humbles you.
Only because Meta won't let you quit your Facebook or it'll shut down your Instagram. Remember, I tried.
True.
It's the only reason I have any Facebook presence.
Agreed.
Mark Zuckerberg.
How dare you? Okay, so here we go. So she got really famous really fast too throughout all this. But again came that idea that like you should expect that. And one of the things that she said in court that was just kind of appalling to her to have to defend is, why she should have a right over her, if her job is this and her job is a separate thing, how this is not linked to that, and how just because she can pose nude for her work that somehow justifies that everybody should be able to see her private property. And I agree with that.
One's personal, one's professional. It doesn't seem that difficult to me.
But they slap that kind of moral aspect of, oh, well, if you're okay with this, you should be okay with that, which is just gross.
Well, that's society. It's gross.
So she also wasn't like paid very much on Baywatch. She was like new to the scene. She didn't really know that that was going to be a big thing either. It was like, oh, I have a job.
Yeah.
And I'm, in LA. And so she didn't get paid a ton of money for that either. And she didn't really have like representatives at that juncture to like get her the most bang for her buck.
I'm sure the Hoff had top tier pay.
Oh, I'm sure. In 1994, she was cast in her first starring film role in Raw Justice, also known as Good Cop, Bad Cop.
Never heard of it.
Me neither. It was actually won a bronze award at the World Fest Charleston.
That's third place.
Yeah, in dramatic theatrical film. And then she played Barbara Rose in the film Barbed Wire.
Oh, I've heard of Barbed Wire.
The movie, a thinly veiled futuristic remake of Casablanca.
I have not seen it, but I have heard of it.
It was a commercial success. I've never seen it either. They showed like clips of it, and I still haven't watched it. So,
I'm making these statements like whether or not I've heard of something is at all meaningful.
I take meaning in it. That's
I've heard of it. I've not heard of it. Like that matters.
So it was in May of 2004. Anderson appeared nude on the cover of Playboy magazine on the cover. Later, she posed naked for Stuff and GQ magazines. Anderson was also featured on the cover of the fashion magazines British Marie Claire, Flair, and Elle Canada, and an editorial for Russian Elle as well, and B. So in 2004, she released the book Star, capital S there, co-written by Eric Shaw Quinn, about a teenager trying to become famous.
Oh, it's like a fiction book?
Yeah. Interesting, right? And then one thing I forgot to say earlier. So when she worked on Home Improvement, she was like, yeah, it was really odd, it's like the first day you're there and you see Tim Allen, who's a comedian, in his bathrobe in the hallway making, like sex jokes at you. And she's like, I get like, he's a comedian. That's what he does. And that's how you kind of brush things off in that industry. It's like, oh, that's what they do.
They get a pass.
Right. And it just made me, I'm like,
they get a pass for being an ass.
Tim Allen. Now I have that image in my mind and it ruined it. I know nothing else about Tim Allen, to be fair. So he might have plenty other things to ruin it.
I think he does.
Does he?
I think he's got some other things.
Maybe. I have no idea.
No, I think it is.
Okay, I'll have to look into that.
Something I've heard of.
Probably. Really? Do you know it off the top of your head, or you just don't know?
I can't think of a specific thing, but I can tell you there's a vibe.
I mean, I get the vibe after she said that. So
you know what my favorite part of Home Improvement was? It was the first show I ever saw that used reusable cloth grocery bags when the family would come home from a shopping trip.
It's interesting that you'd remember
they'd put them, that's literally all I remember from that show. They'd put them on the counter and there's like these white canvas reusable shopping bags. I've never seen that in a show before. I was like, wow, actually, that's cool.
I remember that. Yeah, because that's what the tools were in and stuff, right? Like the.
Well, I saw them for groceries. Like
like
bring them home and they'd make like
that big round
Jonathan Taylor Thomas come put groceries away.
Homework at the table.
Yes, it was like the all-purpose like kitchen island.
Right.
A lot happened there.
Yeah, so that happened, I guess. Inappropriate TV stuff. I didn't know that Tommy Lee was her first husband either. I didn't know.
I didn't know there was
Wow.
5 others after that.
Right.
Was one of them Richie Sambora? No, that was Heather
So
Locklear.
she was married to one during the filming, and at the very end, she was divorced by the end of the filming, and they shared it at the end of the documentary. And that was spurt warning, and they spurt alert,
Spoiler, yeah.
spurt alert, yeah.
Trigger warning. No,
And they showed him in there, and it's clip it.
Spoiler warning.
He seemed like a very nice gent. But she is very like, she's like, when I fall in love, I fall in love, and I don't hold back from that. I do what feels right, and I do that for as long as it feels right.
I fall in love hard too, but I don't need to like freaking legalize it. There's no reason. Though I have said if Paul and I last for till next year, I'm gonna do it because we're gonna be that would be 9 years together. It's the longest time.
Nice job.
Not marriage or anything like that.
I mean,
We're just gonna do like a
that's
celebration.
even harder. You should have a celebration, a big.
I want to do 9 versus 10 because
You should let Paul plan it all.
no, thank you.
Ooh, Paul plan it all party.
No.
Woo!
Because
You heard it here first.
it's not gonna be planned.
So
My
let's.
party.
Okay, it's Paul's party too.
No,
Yes, 9 years. 9.
I'm doing 9 versus 10 because 18 is my favorite number, and
And
it's
it's
half
all
of,
about you.
it's half of 18,
And half of it is you. You're right. I
And
think that math works out
it's mostly
in
about
your
me.
favor.
Yeah.
50% at least. So
Speaking of parties, you don't have to like lock it down. That's my opinion. I'll invite you.
thank you. I appreciate that. That's nice.
It'll be fun.
I will be here.
There'll be hors d'oeuvres.
I love hors d'oeuvres. I love a good
A good hors d'oeuvre.
hors d'oeuvre or with accoutrement.
There'll be accoutrement and hors d'oeuvres.
Yum. Spinach dip is great. Like a spinach cheese dip is one.
That is what you're requesting. We will have it.
During okay, so anyway, she was professionally known as Pamela Anderson Lee, which actually flows together quite well. Throughout this whole thing, like when she talks about Mr. Lee, you could tell that he was like her like love, like first love, and she even called him at one point on the show to like complain about like the show that was coming out, and the way that she talks to him is like she talked to him about.
How long were they together?
Gosh, they got divorced in 1998, but they had custody dispute over the kids. I think, co-parenting.
Yeah, I remember the kids were pretty small when they got divorced because I do remember some kind of video of her in the street
2002.
where the kids were like scootering.
Yeah, 2002. So 1998 is the divorce. 2002 is the custody stuff. And then, so in 2000, I didn't know this either. In 2002, she publicly announced that she had contracted hepatitis C by sharing needles with tattoo needles with Lee, and shared that with publicly, and I didn't know that. In 2003, she jokingly said on Howard Stern radio show that she did not expect to live more than 10 or 15 years. But this was taken very seriously by a lot of websites, and they like push that again, a publicity thing. By 2015, she'd been actually cured of hepatitis C. And then after the divorce, Anderson became engaged to the model Marcus Schwarzenberg. Sorry, they broke up in 2001. Which one?
Marcus
Schwarzenberg. I can show you Margaret. Here, hold on.
Can you make it bigger?
Yeah, probably.
I have my 1.75. Okay, maybe he's got a nice personality.
He's a Swedish model.
Okay.
There's
I'm not
literally no other photo.
big in that look.
Me neither. They broke up in 2001.
He looks like
She then became engaged to Kid Rock. I had no idea.
he looks like Count Chocula.
I had no
that guy
idea.
looked like Count Chocula. Yeah, well, the collar. It was the collar and the hairline. Something was off for me. Kid Rock. Okay.
I didn't even know Kid Rock was in the equation at all. That's like a bit of a reach. That's like trying to be Tommy Lee, in my opinion.
Well,
I'm not a huge Kid Rock fan. I'm sorry.
If you have a type, well, I used to like him before he got all terrible.
I only knew him as terrible, so maybe that's the problem. So,
like when he had his first hit song, I was like, okay.
So She said she was going to marry him in 2006 on a yacht in France. She said, though, in one of her blog entries, feel I've been stuck in a time warp, not able to let go of my family picture. It's been sad and lonely and frustrating. I've raised my kids alone in hope of a miracle. Well, my miracle came and went and came back and back because he knew that I'd wake up one day and realize that I was waiting for nothing. I'm moving on, she declared. I feel like I'm finally free. I'm in love.
Oh, she was like wanting to get back with Tommy. Is that what she's saying?
Um, but then she fell in love with Kid Rock. Like, here's my way out because I felt stuck in love. Stuck in love. There was extensive unconfirmed media speculation that the marriage was pregnancy related. No comments, didn't happen. Yeah. So
Did they get married?
they did not.
Okay.
Well, actually, hold on.
Well, who
Let
are
me
all
make
these
sure. Hold on.
husbands she had?
Hold on.
You can marry Count
Oh,
Chocula?
sorry. I didn't even know this part. This wasn't shared in the film. November 10th, 2006, it was announced that she had miscarried while in Vancouver shooting a new film, Blonde and Blonder. Or 17 days later, Anderson filed for divorce. Okay, from Kid Rock.
Oh, they were married. Okay.
So they were co-stars, I guess. Oh, Kid Rock's outrage during the screening of Borat, in which Anderson has a cameo role, led to filing a divorce 2 weeks later. Wow. Yeah, that would be hard.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Relationship.
the time I liked Kid Rock was before I knew anything like actually about him as a person. It was
You're
just
right.
like, oh, musician. Okay,
Yeah.
he got some bops out there.
In 2007, then she said she was engaged on the Ellen Show. That she was engaged to who is it? Rick Salomon applied for a marriage license. You want to see Rick
Yeah, I want to
Salomon?
see all these people so I can judge them.
He was like a poker, one of those like poker players.
Okay, not liking that look either. But
Yeah,
again, could be super funny and fun.
right. He was a high stakes poker player, best known
Probably
for
not super fun.
best known for his 2004 sex tape with Paris Hilton. Who is this guy? He does not look like that
Wow.
guy. First of
Well,
all,
there's, behind
high
the
stakes
scenes.
poker, I guess, is a
Behind the
thing.
scenes, we
He
don't know.
won $2.8 million in 2014.
He's got that poker face.
And 3.3 million in 2016 and 2.84 in 2018.
I don't like that kind of like really small
Doughy
beard.
small beards.
Yeah.
Doughy small rough.
It's just
fluff.
like in this one area.
In that like region. If I have to say your beard's in a region of your face, there's something wrong.
There's something wrong.
Right, I agree. Stop trying to look. It's not on my phone anymore.
Well,
I don't want to. I don't
like,
want you to associate my phone with that face.
I didn't like his shirt either.
I didn't like his shirt either. Who wears collared?
I mean, unless it's
knit
your
shirt.
uniform, but still, you could protest.
You can't have a uniform for poker.
Are you sure?
If you're the
Isn't it a
only
team
one.
sport?
No, there's
I don't
only
know.
one. Okay, I can't even.
What's your favorite card game?
I only know how to play hearts.
Don't know.
I don't know either. Pinocchle's a thing in my family. They all are aggressive, super aggressive pinochle players. My grandmas will take you down.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they're super competitive. Anyway, so Salman, so that was in 2014. Then she she said that it was originally Friends with Benefits on the Ellen Show, and then 2014 she announced that she got married and then divorced again. I don't know, something.
Just getting married is fun. You get to like
People
have
are
a
there.
party and have
She
a
married Dan
dress.
Hayhurst, her bodyguard, in 2020. Yeah.
Well, we've all seen The Bodyguard. True love
And
can't
he guards
exist.
her body, so it makes sense. Right. It just does, I guess. So
I can see that being an intimate relationship.
I guess, yeah. So then, I'm gonna skip all this. Blah, blah, blah. She was in a lot of random things too, as cameos and things and sorts of stuff. Okay, so I did not know what led to Tommy the divorce thing. Did you know that part?
No.
So, so again, a very tumultuous. Whoa,
Tumultuous.
that's hard with this can of wine.
I'm sure.
Tumultuous.
It's a good word though.
It is. Relationship is that so she was pregnant and he got really angry. I believe it's something about Baywatch. He like actually came down and was like watching one of the filmings. He became very jealous over the eyes,
oh,
and
was it because she's wearing like a bathing suit?
I don't know the like legits. I'm sure I could find them, but she didn't share too many like little details. But he apparently though, like kicked her like
Oh,
while pregnant.
so he's abusive.
And she said that was the only time that that had happened, and that was the one and only time, and she filed for divorce the next day. And he went to jail for that thing, and then they never got back together.
Hmm.
So, and that's why, like, when I hear her like talk about him, it is kind of this like, I did what I had to do,
Yeah.
but there's still like that you could hear the kind of love in her voice, sort of thing of like,
Yeah, I mean that's tough.
yeah. Um, oh, Tim Allen, she did say he did open his robe and flash her quickly once.
Oh, neat,
He was completely naked.
neat.
She laughed
Like,
uncomfortably, as most women do. We
like
don't
what is the reaction like that is
expect it.
expected?
I think it's just the thrill of it that those flashers do that. It's like the moment, not a.
Like, I mean, do you think there's like
Mm-mm.
a plan or like some kind of like they're hoping like what? Like the woman runs towards them into the robe and is like into it? Because that's never gonna happen.
No, no. And I think that's kind of the theme that I got while watching this throughout this whole one. I like this documentary because she doesn't like tell you what to think. She's just kind of just saying it.
Yeah,
And like there's a whole lot of just not consent throughout the whole thing.
yeah,
Of here being told what to do based on what
yeah.
social norms are at the time, and then being forced into situations that are uncomfortable as a woman in those times, and having to deal with it as a woman.
Well, I think there's a lot of assumptions that people could take liberties with her.
Right.
Just
And
based on
that you can't be a businesswoman because you're a Playboy
Right.
girl.
There's those assumptions that, well, you must be stupid or a slut or whatever just because you look a certain way.
Right. And she said that she's not a very judgmental person. That she tries to really just understand that people are kind of, doing the best that they can and within their assigned whatevers too. And like even with like the Tim Allen thing, she was very like people said, oh, that probably led to blah blah blah, and it just people assume.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, not ever. That one thing factually happened and that was it. So trying not to let things build. So she said that the world has created like a caricature. That's also a hard word right now.
Caricature, yeah.
Of who she is. And the VP of Independent Documentary Films who helped put together this Netflix series said that there's a depth to this woman and a definite intelligence that's ready to really own and show the world. And that's really what you get is like you see this really soft, bubbly, nice, kind person, but when she goes into her memory bank, you can see her like she's very smart, and she's learned it's like that street smart, like I know how to survive. And
Did you hear that?
I did from the death closet, from whatever that
From the
portal is in
David
the
portal?
corner.
Yeah.
Great.
That's that sound that sometimes happens.
That means it's time to be done with my talking. So, anyways, it was really good. That's on Netflix. Netflix is the carrier of the good, most updated version
I don't
of
have Netflix
First Story.
anymore.
Hulu is the one that did the Pam and Tommy that was not
I don't have Hulu
any
either.
consent given. She called them assholes when describing people behind the series. Salt on the wound, she said, you still owe me a public apology. She refuses to watch a single minute of the show.
I
But
only have 4 streaming services. That's my limit.
that's a lot, actually, in my
How many do you have?
I have Hulu and Netflix and Disney.
You don't have Amazon Prime?
Oh, that's fun too.
That counts too.
4.
Yeah, that's what I
I
limit.
canceled my the Audible.
I have, and me too. I have Max, Amazon, Disney. Maybe I only have 3. I thought I had 4.
So to wrap up, these days Pamela Anderson is living the mirror version of her 22-year-old self. She wakes up around 4 or 5 in the morning, around the same time she used to at home. She moved back home with her mom.
Where is home?
It is in, oh gosh. Oh yeah, no, I know this. She grew up on Vashon Island, which is West Coast, Washington.
Oh.
Which is where that's where my dad was born, and my
Oh.
family's from Vashon Island. And that's why it was like such a big deal for her to leave. Like leaving the island was a big thing.
Yeah.
So she bought property in Ladysmith. Actually, I have no idea where that's from. From her grandma decades ago. Her parents take care of her 5 dogs. Okay, maybe it's on Vashon Island. Adopted from all over the world. So when she travels, she'll adopt dogs and take care of them. She's alone for the first time since she can ever remember. She went relationship to relationship to relationship. No famous man with whom she could share the remote control, she said. She's retracing her childhood steps. The trees have known me since birth. My feet touched the ground first where I'm living now. Which is where she wrote the book, or wrote the book that led to her Hail Mary. She said it was important to go back and see what I remember and tell one whole story. So I highly encourage you to go watch it. It gave me a different idea because
Well, I don't have Netflix, so I can't.
you can't, but I'll let you.
But I'll
borrow
check out her
mine.
Insta.
But those early, domestic violence things impacted her in other relationships too. And, she divorced the guy she was married to in the middle of the documentary. So there you go.
All right.
Pam Anderson, if you want to come in and just even if you want to give us a little mantra for the day, we would love that. We'd love a mantra.
Okay, I 100% guarantee she's never going to listen to this.
Why do you keep saying that?
But
Don't you?
we
put
can
it
reach
there?
out to her peeps who may get back to us.
You think so?
May, I said May.
I feel like she'd get back to us before Peeps would get back to
I'm
us.
pretty sure she has peeps.
I know. It looked like she was checking her mail. She went back on island. Maybe I got the home connect. I gotta figure out, whose grandma knows whose grandma. I'll get on that. Oh wow, that melted like butter in my
Isn't
mouth.
that the best? Yes.
Mm.
The chocolate fudge is the best flavor of those.
And with that,
Until next time, I'd say avoid making assumptions. I know it's really hard. You really have to just slow down and just take more of a mindful approach to things, but it's the best way forward.
And just know sometimes the first episodes of things aren't great. Power through the first like 2 or 3. You might get hooked.
Yeah, it's happened to me.
Try something out.
Yeah. Give it a shot. Bye.